Kenya, you might have a war coming your way because the president of Uganda, Kenya's landlocked neighbor, just said that the Indian Ocean belongs to him and that if he doesn't get guaranteed access, they will face wars.
That ocean belongs to me because where is my ocean?
Museveni is not your problem.
I think he is.
No, listen to me, young man, and slow down. Don't put words in my mouth. I will help you to grow.
Yes.
Museveni is not your problem.
What is the problem?
Your policies are your problem.
Not the person.
Not the person. You can put Bobby Wine tomorrow. There's nothing Bobby Wine will change. Because the same policies that I'm telling you about, unless you transform the system, there's nothing that a leader can do. So you put a leader in parliament who simply manages the same colonial system. There will be no difference, young man. You can put as many leaders and change as many as you want. That's why America can even put a dog as the president of America. And America will run.
I see.
Ask me why.
Why?
Because the system is built to protect American interests. And
so here we don't have
even if you put a cat, America will not close. So you are even lucky to have Museveni. Because he's got a better.
I'm not sure.
No,
I'm not sure. Being in power.
I don't want us to talk and tag each other.
Yes.
The indigenous governance systems we come from, which are royalty. Every generation comes with its leader and dies with the leader. Another generation comes with its leader, dies with its leader. So this whole thing of yours of 4 years, 5 years, how long will it take you to build your own house for your own family? 5 years?
No.
How many years?
10 or 15.
15 years.
Yes.
So now try and build a country in 5 years. If you fail to build your own house in 5 years, can you build a country in 5 years?
But I think it is his problem not to streamline the structures.
Until you produce educated, progressive young people who can get into the system to transform it. Don't challenge the leader just for the sake of let's change. Same thing we have in Zimbabwe. No, we want a new leader. We want a new little boy to run the politics. The boy can't even wipe his nose and remove mucus on his face. And he wants to run a country. So it doesn't work like that.
But there was time when the President Mugabe was there for a long time.
Mugabe was there.
And things were falling. We had that things were not
young man,
running well.
Young man, I think after this interview, you need to go back to school and ask for your school fees back.
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
Because you don't understand politics. The British and the Americans promised Mugabe billions of dollars to pay for land. And they said for the next 25 years, don't address the issue of land. We'll be paying you. When Tony Blair got into power, Tony Blair refused to pay.
The Prime Minister of
Ask me why.
Why?
Because the white man is not truthful. The white man never keeps his word. The white man says one thing and does another. And so 25 years later, when the contract was not owned up, Mugabe then shifted the gears and took the land back. Had we changed the presidents in Zimbabwe to put another president, maybe we would have never been able to return our land. But the man they promised 30 years later was still in power, and he asked them to own up on their words. You come around as young little boys and tell us that Mugabe was this and Mugabe was that. You don't understand the politics of Africa impersonated in the country of Zimbabwe. And until all African countries implement the Mugabe strategy, you are going to remain in power.
I am entitled to that ocean. In the future, we are going to have wars. In the future, we are going to have wars. How can you say that you are in a block of flats, that the compound belongs to only the flats on the ground floor, that the compound belongs to the whole block. All the flats are entitled to the compound.
Yeah.
There's no way you can say. So may I just watch these people? You are really endangering yourself. How can you have a situation like this? Uganda is landlocked inside here. But where is my ocean? My ocean is the Indian Ocean. No, it belongs, really, me. I'm on the top floor of the block. And then you say the compound belongs only the ones on the ground floor. This is madness. So that's why I say, you people, you better unite economically for the sake of prosperity. If you want.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has downplayed threats of war issued by Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni over access to the port of Mombasa and the Indian Ocean, insisting Museveni is well aware of international territorial laws, but experts warn that his remarks, including a claim that he, quote, owns the Indian Ocean through Kenyan transit, risk straining bilateral relations and the cohesion of the East African community. NTV's Laban Shaban reports.
Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni is seeking another mandate come January 2026. Museveni is eyeing his 8th consecutive term since seizing power in 1986.
Come and you stand around here, and I don't have the strength to go and stand there.
It is against this backdrop that the former rebel leader has had tongue-wagging remarks touching on Kenya-Uganda relations and the right to access the Indian Ocean when he was unpacking his manifesto during the weekend.
The political organization in Africa is so irrational. Some of the countries have no access to the sea. For economic purposes, but also for defense purposes, you are stuck. How do I export my products? That's why we have got endless discussion with Kenya, then this one stops, then another one comes, then the railway, the pipeline, the what, we discuss. But that ocean belongs
Today, Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni is threatening to fight Kenya because of Indian Ocean. And all these natural resources, you know, they existed before even the human existence. We existed after all these great resources were there. So how can you today wake up and say that a certain mountain belongs to you? How can you wake up and say that a certain ocean belongs to you? Because you were born and find these things existing, and you will die left these things existing.
But that ocean belongs to me. Because where is my ocean? I am entitled to that ocean. In future, we are going to have wars.
So, do you know what? All that some of the African leaders are doing is what they were installed in their minds by our former colonizers, because they came to teach or to teach Africans of living in a different spaces. They came and draw some lines calling borders and telling some Africans that this is your part, so you don't have to cross, and the other side the same. So you find yourself crossing, as in you live in Africa, but crossing in another country is like is more difficult than crossing or going outside or across the borders, across the oceans. So this is a game, a mind game that was played by our former colonizers, because they wanted to capture Africa, and they used different tactics and plans to make sure that their game is played well. So today Africans are fighting themselves, killing each other, and they are ready to destroy everything they build just because of a line that is called a border. Today they are ready to fight against themselves, to kill, to destroy themselves because of water bodies like oceans. So Museveni is one of the African grand leader who has been there for so long, has been in a leader of the country of Uganda over 4 decades. But again, when you listen to how he's responding to things, how he's speaking, you know, this is one of the leaders that we expect that he should be an example for democracy and how things are. Because when you listen to the speeches of Museveni, he is against the foreign influence. He is against the foreign policies. But how can he be following up things that was created, the artificial things that were put there by the former colonizers? Because when he today come out and start to announce that he's ready to fight, but make sure that he's taking over the ocean, then this is a joke. This is a joke that we as Africans, it's time we have to stand up and say that we are no longer going to allow this to happen. We are no longer going to entertain these kind of leaders, and that's why I always say that this time is not the time of these great older leaders, because they have nothing good or new to offer to Africans. They have nothing new or any idea to offer to the African youth, because this is the time that each and every African leaders should be fighting or being worried on how to develop African countries, how to make African youth life better, how to empower the youths, and how to create jobs, how to make to make themselves independent, and doing great things that maybe it will build their countries, it will help their people, and their youth will not cross oceans, the borders, to go and looking for life or better life across Africa. But today, when you look at them, they are so focused in some things that doesn't make sense. So if today you stand up and you announce that you're ready to fight, to take ocean, to take because of a border, to take a mountain, things that you are born and find existing, and you will just live and leave them existing, then it means that you have not yet liberated your mind. You are still mind colonized. You are still mind colonized because all that you are doing is what the people, all our oppressors expected that it would happen. They played a major role when they were in Africa during the times of slavery. That's why you see even today when you go in America, there are some black Americans who don't accept that they are African Americans, or they came from Africa. Their original home is Africa.
Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has stirred tensions with Kenya after asserting that his landlocked country is entitled to access the Indian Ocean and should not be denied that right. His comments, widely interpreted as a veiled warning to Kenya, have triggered strong reactions in both countries, raising concerns about potential impacts on regional trade routes, port access, and East African integration. DW's Frank Yiga reports from Uganda.
In an interview aired Tuesday night on state broadcaster UBC from Mbale, President Museveni described the denial of sea routes to inland nations like Uganda as madness. He cautioned that Uganda might one day resort to war to defend what he called its ocean.
That ocean belongs to me. Because where is my ocean? I am entitled to that ocean. In future, we are going to have wars. My ocean is the Indian Ocean. No, it belongs really me.
Museveni's remarks have sparked surprise and unease across Uganda. Many observers view his warning as directed at Kenya, a key regional ally and trading partner.
They are not even ready to be called African Americans. They call themselves Americans because that's all they know. So those are the things that we were installed in our minds. For example, today, when you see some of African Americans relocating to Africa, some of Africans are viewing them as foreigners, as tourists, but not as the returnees of returnees, like the brothers and sisters who were separated from each other many years ago. So this is a time that many times Pierre Lumumba always come out and say that Africans, you should wake up. Dr. Rikana said the same. Julius Malema said the same. And this has not been started to be addressed by the people or the recent leaders. But this is something that has been there for so long. Even for those great Pan-Africans who lived and came to pass, they were fighting for this. Free Africa, free up your mind, because all that you're doing is not what our freedom fighters were fighting for. All that we are doing is not the one that can make our countries to be liberated. All that we're doing is not what we can make our history maybe to stand and repeat itself. But now today, all that's happening is some of the African leaders, some of the few group of African leaders who don't have any interest of the African continent, but they are only interested by themselves. Once they get whatever they want, they're okay. They don't care. They don't bother how people are living, how people are struggling out. You've seen people, Africans are dying under their leadership. Their leaders are, instead of offering or delivering to them, protecting them, they're the one who are unaliving them. We've seen the situation that has happened in the country of Tanzania just a few days ago. We have many thousands of people, the youth, the innocent youth, who are going on the street to speak out their voice, to ask for their freedom and their rights. Instead of the government giving them what they were asking, they killed them. And these are some of the leaders who are calling themselves the democratic leaders. They come out to preach democracy. They insist to their people that you have to wake up in the morning to go and carry out a democratical activity by electing your leader of choice. You ask your people to go and practice their democratic way while you are locking up the people of their choice, and you call yourself a democratic leader. When you go in Uganda today, they're still the government of Uganda is still calling itself a democratic government. So which kind of democracy is this? Which kind of democracy, democratic country are we living in Africa? Because I believe that all that we are doing today in Africa is what is giving credit, chances, opportunities, and access to our former colonizers. Because whenever they see Africans fighting themselves, that's what they want. That is what they created. That is what is their target. They benefit from this. Today, Kenya and Uganda will go to fight, but tell me who will benefit? It's not Kenya or Uganda. But some people who we don't know are the one who will benefit from this. Because when we go to fight, because of this ocean, there are some people who will come on back of it. They come to solve. They come to settle. They come to bring peace among ourselves. But through this process, they are going to benefit a lot. So that is how that's how they trained Africa. And that's how they're expecting every Africa to behave. That's why you see whenever any African leaders are waking up and start to do things against their will, against their agreements, against their policies, they find a way to eliminate. So it is upon the African leaders to find a way on how to deal with their issues. This is not the time of fighting again among ourselves, but this is the time of fighting those who are fighting us. This is not the time of fighting for these resources that we are having in Africa, while other people who are not Africans are still fighting on how to take over all these resources. So we will fight because of ocean, but they will come and take this ocean with all that is having. They played the major role by capturing Africa. They gave us freedom, but they never left Africa. They just evolved. They changed the uniforms. They are not today colonizing Africans through chains, but they are doing it through policies, foreign influence, through democracy. That's why you see today, no any African leader is ready to make his or her own decision to govern his country. He must wait the democracy from West to come and guide him. He must wait for Donald Trump to come and tell him what to do. He must wait for Emmanuel Macron to come and tell him what to do. Today we are watching things are happening. What's the situation? Genocide happening in the country of Nigeria. Tinubu is there, the leader of Nigeria, watching everything happening, waiting for Donald Trump to come and help Nigerians. Nigerians themselves calling upon Donald Trump to come and help them. That's how they trained Africa. That's what they installed in African minds. They create their problems, and then they come on back of it to solve. But through that, they get whatever they want. So today, Nigerians themselves are calling upon Donald Trump to come and save them. But do you know what will come at the end of it? They'll come and install their military bases there. After their help, do you think they're going to leave from this country? They can't. They will leave this country after destroying it. So our fight is their benefit. Whenever we fight, they're on their offices with a cup of coffee and tea, celebrating, laughing, because their target is coming real. Their plans are coming to be achieved. So let us not be fools, Africans. This is all the time. We are running out of time. The agenda was to unite Africa by 2063. We are fighting to remove all these borders, while other people are still fighting because of these borders. We are fighting to free Africa, make Africa one country, while other people are still fighting to to take over some things, some resources of Africa. So we as citizens, we are united. We are speaking one voice, while our leaders are different. They are speaking different languages. They are fighting. They're not agreeing in common issues. So, as African youths and citizens, we have awakened. We are awake, and we know what's right. We know what we are going to take and what we are not. And we are not going to allow our leaders, the greed leaders, the useless leaders, to come and control us, to come and continue misleading us, to come and continue selling our richness to other people. Because if we allow this to happen, we just don't need to think of ourselves, but we have to think of the tomorrow's generation. Which Africa will they get? They have to come and find the best Africa that Patrice Lumumba, the freedom fighters that Malcolm X was fighting for, but not an African that we ourselves still giving out to the people who are so in need of it. It is the time we have to fight to ask ourselves questions. Why some people are fighting so hard to take over Africa? Because they know how worthy it is. While we are living in it, sitting on top of every richness, every resources, every kind of mineral, and we don't know what we are having. That's why they keep on fighting us, supporting terrorists, to make Africa uncomfortable, to make Africa not have peace, so as for them to get easy access and continue doing all that they used to do all these great years. So I'll not take much of your time. Kindly, all that's happening in the country of Uganda, from this older leader Yoweri Museveni, as Africans, as youth, as Kenyans, we have to stop him, because we are not in that time. This is not the time of handling with the petty and useless things, useless issues that's not there to help or build anything. But we are focused, and that's why you see most of the Africans today, they're on their on internet. What they're speaking about is freedom, independence, resistance from foreign policies and influence. So when you see all these great young people coming out to speak about these things, it is because they have come to awaken. They know the history of Africa. They know what they want. That's why you see some of them are going on the street to demonstrate, some of them being killed there. But they're not surrender. They're not ready to surrender. They're not quitting, because they know what they want. We know and understand the liberation. This is one of the ways of liberation. And we know that liberation is not an easy task. It's not waking up and asking for something and be given. But a liberation is a process that requires a lot of sacrifice and a lot of things. That's why many of African leaders that were assassinated, that we are coming to speak about them today, they are the leaders who are fighting to liberate African continent. That's why they were killed. That's why they were terminated. So it is our responsibility as African youths to take our portion and make sure that we achieve this agenda by stopping all these greedy leaders, useless African leaders, for not taking advantages from all that we are having, what we believe that is only our weapon to sharpen our future. Until next time, just leave a comment, share this black unity, and we are here to discuss more concerning African continent, because this is the only place we have. This is a motherland, and we are so proud to have this. That's why we will fight until the end of our life, protecting this great continent of Africa. Thank you for being here each and every time. Consider subscribing, share, and comment. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, we come with the same. Thank you, and be blessed wherever you're watching from.
I don't take much time.